Hey guys, I'm back the next week with another episode for y'all. And today we're gonna do another Am I the Asshole episode because I really like reading these. I think it's really interesting and hopefully you guys enjoy it too. I am back on Reddit and we're just gonna get right into it. Okay, so first one. Am I the asshole for kicking my roommate out after he made rude remarks about my wife? To start off, I'm 32 male. My 34 male friend, Noah, got fired from his job and has been struggling to make ends meet. I told him he could come temporarily stay with my wife and I, my wife being 32 female. He has been living here for a couple of months, and during those couple of months, he's been making nasty comments about my wife's weight. Note, she's pregnant. And I've only just now heard of it. I immediately got enraged, and the moment he got home, I confronted him about it. He brushed it off as just harmless jokes, and that she should stop eating so much. It turned into a screaming contest, and it eventually led to me telling him to pack his bags and get out. It's been a couple of days since then, and he's tried reaching out to me, but I ignore him. Am I the asshole? Absolutely not. You help him out, and he treats your wife like that? No. You're in the right. He can face the consequences of that mindset. It is not anyone's place to be making comments on anyone's body. That's just inappropriate. No, you're not the asshole in that situation. Okay, next one. Am I the asshole for kicking my two friends out of the house for hurting my dog? Okay, so I, 22 male, got home from work today, and my ex-girlfriend's brother and one of my good friends were wanting to hang out with me. I said that's fine, and we were just hanging out until my ex's brother was walking through the hall when my dog tries to squeeze past him. He then proceeds to kick her in the head into the wall. It wasn't too hard, but there was definitely some force used. I confronted him and asked why he did that to her. He tells me that she walked into him. Personally, my dog comes first. It's my responsibility to take care of her, and that means not letting her get hurt. My other friend starts laughing, and I give him a type of look. And he said, if your dog could take a kick from me earlier, then she can handle that, implying he kicked her earlier. I then said there's no excuse to hurt my dog, and my ex's brother jokingly said, someone's got their panties in a twist. So I went upstairs with my dog and went into my room and told them they need to leave. I feel like a lot of my anger is due to me going through the breakup process with my ex, and I feel like I'm in the anger phase. And maybe I could have handled it better, but the other part of me thinks that I'm justified because it's important to stand up for my dog who can't stand up for herself in these kinds of situations. Am I the asshole? Absolutely not. I don't think you are at all. You're right. It is your job and your responsibility to make sure your dog is taken care of. And part of that is making sure that she doesn't get hurt. So that's completely valid. Nobody should be kicking, shoving, kneeing any animal, regardless if it's theirs or not. They should not have done that to your dog. You know, you're not the asshole for kicking your friends out. I would have done the same thing. Next one. Am I the asshole for not getting off birth control against my parents' wishes? I'm a 21-year-old female from a very conservative Catholic family. A couple months ago, after many arguments and discussions, I was able to start birth control for my very heavy periods. Recently, my periods had started causing me a lot of discomfort and heavy bleeding that made me develop anemia. My parents were still not really happy about the idea, but didn't bring up the subject. The only reason my parents had to be informed is because my medication and doctor's visit go through my dad's insurance. Recently, while on a family trip, my dad brought up the topic that he and my mom didn't want me on birth control anymore because I was getting fat and that the pills were only going to slowly start making me infertile. My mom was sitting in the room too, and she was agreeing with my dad and adding that she wanted grandkids while she was still young enough to be a cool grandma. I'm disturbed by all this because all my life they have been controlling about anything that happens to my body. What should I do? I don't want to stop my birth control, but I don't want to keep getting bombarded by my parents to get off of it. I'm just at a loss for words because the subject of my body and appearances seem to always be at the top of the list that my parents don't like about me. Your body and your appearance has nothing to do with your parents, and it is none of their business. You are 21 years old. You are an adult. You've been an adult for a few years. You have every single right to make decisions about your body, especially if it's for your health. You are doing what's right for you in that time of your life. If you need it, you need it, and they should not have any say in that. You are not the asshole. Am I the asshole for making my son wear diapers as a punishment? I recently caught my son relentlessly bullying and belittling his younger sister. He made fun of her appearance and interests and generally made her life miserable. As a mother, it broke my heart to see my daughter so afraid and upset. I tried talking to my son, reasoning with him, and even punishing him, but nothing seemed to make him stop. Finally, I decided to take matters into my own hands and give him a taste of his own medicine. I told him that he's going to be wearing diapers for a week, just like his little sister who still wears them at night. I told him that he can only use them to relieve himself and that he couldn't take them off until the week was over. Now, some people are saying that I went too far and that I'm being abusive, but I disagree. I believe that my son's behavior was completely unacceptable and that he needed to be punished in a way that would make him understand just how hurtful his actions were. And you know what? It worked. After just a day of wearing the diapers, my son apologized to his sister and promised to treat her with kindness and respect. He even started doing small things to make her feel better, like helping her with her homework and sharing his toys with her. However, I still have doubts over my methods. I both worry that I'm being too strict and maybe not strict enough. I don't want his pattern of behavior to continue, but I also don't want him to end up traumatized by some silly punishment. This was a completely inappropriate way to handle the situation, in my opinion. You're going to humiliate your son to get him to stop bullying his sister. No. You could have gone about that so many other ways. He's going to remember that. So, just an FYI, that's going to stick with him forever. Am I the asshole for walking to my neighbor's house at 11 p.m. to get my groceries that were delivered to the wrong address? I ordered Uber Eats at 10 p.m. When it got delivered, the delivery driver took a picture of the groceries that I ordered, and when I looked at the picture, I realized they delivered it to my next-door neighbor's porch. And I put on my shoes and went to my neighbor's house. When I was walking through their driveway, I saw that all of their lights are off, including the living room, so that means they were sleeping. So I walked back into my house and then wrote a note. It went like, "Hey, we are from unit whatever. I ordered groceries and they delivered it to the wrong house. If you have any questions, give me a knock." I don't know why I added the last part. I'm too much of a chicken to answer the door for anyone except when I'm expecting a package. I put the note on their door, took the groceries, and went back into my house. Now I feel creepy that I did that at this time, but on the other hand, I paid for the groceries and I shouldn't waste food like that or whatever. Am I the asshole? What? Okay, I'm confused as to how, in what world you could think that you're an asshole for this. If they had a Ring camera or something, you could have just said into the camera, "Oh, hey, they dropped my stuff off at your address instead. I'm just taking it. Sorry to bother." You don't have to write a note. You could have just gone, grabbed your stuff, and left. You know? I don't know. You're definitely not an asshole for this, and I don't know why you think you were, but whatever. Am I the asshole for wanting to gain weight against my boyfriend's wishes? No. Again, nobody has any right over your body but you. That's it. But I'm going to get into this, I'm going to read it, and then reevaluate afterwards. Me, 18 female, and my boyfriend, 19 male. Okay, so you guys are really young. Both love going to the gym. I was going to the gym before we met, but I wasn't as serious about it. When I first started, I was 115 pounds and 5'6", and that was back in August or September. It is now July, by the way. My boyfriend, who is 141 pounds and 5'8", used to be super skinny a couple years ago and has been working hard the last 2 years to gain weight. He hit 140 pounds a month or two ago. I've been living with his family for the last month because of problems back home, and he encouraged me to get a membership at his gym. He's been motivating me to work harder in the gym, and I really started to see results, so that made me want to go more and work even harder. Me and my boyfriend recently had a fight because he said my weight was too close to his. I told him I wanted to bulk up to 145 pounds and then cut down to 130. He told me I was being incredibly selfish and that I should stop eating so much so that I don't gain as much weight so fast. He also said that his confidence is already really low because he's only 4 pounds heavier than me, and if I weigh more than him, he'll lose all his motivation for the gym and he'll stop eating and taking me to the gym. I told him he shouldn't put all his worth into how much he weighs because he had already been losing confidence because of seeing bigger guys at the gym. But he said the gym is the number one priority on his list above everything else, including family. We've been talking about it, but he just says that I'm being selfish because I can't do this one thing for him, but he does so much for me. But just because of that, I want us both to get what we want, but I don't think it's fair I have to stop making gains because of his ego. What in the world? You're right. It's not fair. Oh my god. Ugh. First of all, the gym is number one above family? That's weird. That's odd. Your boyfriend's insecurity should have no impact on how he feels about you. That's like when guys are insecure that girls are taller than them. Like, that is so stupid. Your weight and your physique should not have any weight on his security in his body. If he's insecure, that is his problem, not yours. Just know that. What in the world? Do not change yourself for anyone, regardless of if you're already with them or not. The title of this next one I think is really funny. Am I the asshole for farting on my boyfriend? So I, 23-year-old female, woke up next to my boyfriend, 26-year-old male, this morning. He was up on his phone and I was facing away from him. I wanted a good morning kiss, so I tried to turn toward him. While doing so, a fart accidentally slipped out and onto him. I apologized and tried to laugh it off, and I was embarrassed. I tried to give him a cuddle and he pushed me away. I asked why, and he said because I'm disgusting and he doesn't think it was an accident. He was mean this morning, and so now I'm not speaking to him, but I don't know. Am I the asshole? What? No. Why does he have to get mean and call you disgusting? He's just being petty, so he can work on that on his own. That's just annoying. Am I the asshole for convincing my dad to go to court for full custody of me? To start, I am a 16-year-old male. My mom has me every other week and has extremely strict and unreasonable rules for me. So I convinced my dad to go to court to sue for full custody, and he succeeded. My mom's rules completely invalidated my privacy and degraded my mental health. Every week, she would look through every one of my messages to friends, then ground me for anything bad I said, like cursing or even crude jokes I made with my friends. I also wasn't allowed to text girls for any reason, even if it was to ask for help with a group project, because I could get closer with her. It got to the point where I just left my phone at my dad's, but even then she would still ground me for not bringing it. She would never let me see or talk to my friends, since I was grounded every time I came over there. Not being able to talk to anyone every other week really got to me. I started having depressive episodes, which would be chalked down to teen drama by my mom. Eventually, I asked my dad if there was any way he could have full custody, and after a bit of convincing, he agreed to get a lawyer to try to sue for full custody. After he won, my mom started leaving us voice texts with her in tears, which made me wonder if I went too far. So am I the asshole? There's a lot going on in this one. Your mom has no right to invade your privacy in such a way. Reading every single message on your phone is such a big invasion of privacy. I understand that you're 16 and maybe she wants to protect you or whatever, or either way, whether you're 16 or not, that's a complete invasion of privacy and that should not have been done. Nobody should go through anyone's phone for any reason, because that will break trust. Trust is built on openness and honesty, not sneakily going through your phone or snatching it out of your hand and going through it. That's not right. That builds defiance, and if you do that, your child will not want to share things with you. You're 16. You are old enough to determine which parent is going to benefit your mental health to be with. If that's your dad, then I'm glad you took the step that you needed to be with your dad more. So I'm going to say not the asshole for this one because you're old enough to make the right decisions with that. You are old enough to maturely say that my mom is bad for my mental health. So I'm going to spend my time with my dad because he is not the one who's mentally draining me. Your mom is very controlling, so I'm glad you got away from that. Am I the asshole for telling my male friend that he's a creep? My girlfriends and I always kiss each other on the lips and on the cheeks when we greet one another. It's been completely normal for us, and up to yesterday, no one has really said anything weird about it. But yesterday, one of my male friends, more like acquaintances really, saw my girlfriend and I kiss, and he jokingly said, "Aw, you two lesbos." We laughed, at least I thought he was joking, because next he said to kiss again. To clarify, he was drunk, but he was looking at us interestingly, like he was getting benefit from it. I told him to back off and that he was being a creep. He became a little mad and said he was just having fun. I told him no, he was just being a perverted creep. He then apologized and said that he was just horsing around and that I should expect people to crack jokes at us kissing one another. You know what? I'm not even gonna respond to that one. I shouldn't have even read it. Oh my word, so many of these Reddit posts are so long. I'm not gonna read a novel, okay? Keep them short and sweet. Am I the asshole for embarrassing my boyfriend in front of his friends? I, 19-year-old female, have been dating my boyfriend, 25-year-old male, for 9 months, and I love him a lot. However, we had a disagreement on Friday night, which has made me question our relationship. The two of us went to have drinks at his friend's house, and he wanted to introduce me to some of his friends that I still hadn't met yet. During the night, we were all pretty drunk, and we were playing some music. I heard my favorite song, tried to get my boyfriend to dance with me. No one was dancing, just sitting around and talking, but I loved the song and was in a great mood, so I asked my boyfriend to dance. He kept saying no, so I started dancing alone and laughing. Soon, another girl who was there grabbed my hands and we started dancing together. I have no sense of rhythm, so it probably looked awful. When we left the house, my boyfriend was really cold with me. I asked him why, and he said that I had embarrassed him in front of his friends by the way I acted. He said he just wanted me to act normal and that I'd acted out for attention. I feel so hurt by what he said, but also guilty. I can see why it would be embarrassing for your girlfriend to start dancing like a maniac out of nowhere. You're not the asshole. Obviously, you had a few drinks in your system. More people should dance joyfully to their favorite songs, you know? You weren't embarrassing. He chose to be embarrassed. Don't let him muffle your joy. Yeah, you're not the asshole. Your boyfriend, he just chose to be embarrassed. It wasn't anything for him to be embarrassed of, so you're not the asshole. Am I the asshole for tracking my cat and taking him back from my neighbor? We have these neighbors next to us who have always been strange but not necessarily rude. Over the years, our cats have randomly disappeared for days at a time and come back home smelling like cat pee. This is unlike them as they always come home during the day and at night. We thought it was the neighbors as they always talk about how our cats are so nice and love to come over. We have house sat for them before, and their house smells exactly like our cats smell when they come home from their disappearance. I recently bought an AirTag collar and tracked it to their house when our cat was missing for 2 days. I knocked on the door and told them I tracked my cat here. They refused and wouldn't let me have my cat back. Finally, they gave him back after I showed them my tracker on my phone. Turns out they took his collar off and tried to break the tracker. They told me that I should be willing to share my cat as he likes going over there. I know this is not true because when he does come back home, he is starving and dehydrated, has scratches on his body from their cats, and smells terrible. So, am I the asshole? Can I also add that these cats are farm cats? They have a job as mousers. We live in a rural area, so their job is to be outside. They come in and go out as they please. You're definitely not the asshole, but be very wary of these people because that's weird. First of all, they stole your cat. Second of all, they tried to break the AirTag, which is your property. That's destruction of property. AirTags are expensive. Get your cats chipped, please. Get a solicitor's letter sent. I know it seems a bit extreme, but getting a little bit of legal action would help. Especially if your cat comes home with scratches. I understand that your cats are working cats and that they're meant to be outside, but when they do go outside, I would maybe be a little careful and maybe watch them a little bit more. I would get a fence so that your cat can't even go there. Make it to where your cat is not able to get to their house. Take your cat to the vet, because if your neighbor's cats were scratching your cat and the environment is really as bad as you say it is, your cat could have contracted something, so you need to get your cat checked. Call animal services in your area to help the cats who are trapped in that house, because by the sounds of it, your neighbors have several cats in there who are not being treated very well and who need to get out of there. Your neighbors are a nightmare. So please help those cats get out of there. That's insane. Actually crazy. Oh my word. Am I the asshole for wanting to eat dessert even though my uncle died this week? Some days ago, my father's brother-in-law passed away unexpectedly of a heart attack. To clarify, my father's sister's husband. Okay, he was in his mid-50s. Today I was craving something sweet, so decided to order dessert. My father instantly flipped out. He said that this is not an appropriate time since sweets are culturally associated with celebrations, and why don't I just order a cake and have a party? He said that we're a family and pointed out he hasn't even been praying the past few days, which I hadn't noticed, to be honest, since he prays early in the morning and usually when I'm sleeping. In Hindu households, 13 days after a death is the period of mourning. Traditionally, prayers are not performed during this time. He said I should have enough sense and sensitivity about this without him having to tell me. I hadn't even been thinking of any of this. All I wanted was to eat something sweet. It's not like I was planning to order dessert at my aunt's house or flaunt in her and my cousin's faces. I decided to not order any. It obviously wasn't a necessity, but I don't think I did anything wrong by wanting to, so am I the asshole? In a cultural way, I can't really speak on this, because I don't really know in Hindu culture what significance like desserts and sweets have, especially during the mourning period, so I can't really speak on this. But a lot of the people in the thread are saying not the asshole. Okay, am I the asshole for turning off a game that my son and his friends were playing? My son had a sleepover with a few of his friends last night. They had gone swimming and played at the park before coming back to my house to play video games in the living room. I bought them a pizza to eat and was overwhelmed by the smell of 10 and 11-year-old boys' armpit. I told them to go put deodorant on and they said okay. I checked in with them a few minutes later and they still haven't washed up. At that point, they started to push back that they didn't need it because they already had put some on last night. I told them whatever deodorant they put on last night had got washed off at the pool, and you all spent hours running around in warm weather. I told them again to put some on. They still didn't put any on, so I turned off their video game. Apparently they were just about to pass a difficult level before I turned it off and were very upset with me. My son later told me that I embarrassed him. I told him I handled it the way that I did because I wasn't getting their attention. Okay. Teaching a kid hygiene is fine, but teaching it by humiliating them in front of their friends is not. You could have at least given them an ultimatum, like either go shower and put on deodorant or I'm going to turn the TV off or something like that. I'm going to say you're a little bit of an asshole in this situation because they're kids and kids do this sort of thing. You definitely embarrassed your son in front of his friends. I will say it is a lesson they needed to learn. Being smelly as an adult is embarrassing. It's good to teach them hygiene, but not in that way. You could have just gone in with a finish this level, then put on deodorant. If you don't, I'm shutting it off. You know, you didn't have to just shut it off. Anyway, that's it for today. Went through quite a few there. I'd love to know your thoughts on these scenarios. So let me know. Follow Mediocre Human Podcast on Instagram and Mediocre Humans on Twitter. Check out the YouTube. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you haven't listened to last week's episode yet, go check it out. It's me sharing my unpopular opinions, and I thought it was really funny. So go listen to that one. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope you enjoy the next one. I'll see you guys next week. Bye!